everyone, it's fall right now, so that means we're seeing a lot of shellfish at the stores. That's because the water is colder, so it's ideal weather to sort of get some really nice plum, mussels, and clams. So tonight I'm going to make one of my really easy dishes that I often do for dinner, and that's black bean sauce with manila clams. I got about a pound of manila clams from my local grocer. Now, I usually just get it right after work, just come back home and then I can start cooking so it's nice and fresh. But if you're not going to cook it right away, one of the best things to do is just to put it in a brown paper bag and a little moisten with some water, and then you can keep it there until you're ready to cook it. Don't do what I used to do. I used to think that clams lived in water, so I actually submerged them in a pot of water, not knowing that, they probably like salted water. So I pretty much drowned my clams before. It didn't hurt them, but that's probably not the most ideal way to keep them. So just keep it simple, just put it in a brown paper bag and then just keep it in the refrigerator until you're ready. But we're ready now, so I'm going to start cooking it and then you'll see how simple it is. Okay, so here we have our hot wok. I kind of warmed up a couple of tablespoons of oil just to kind of get things going. And then I have 1 clove of garlic that I'm going to add in here. You can adjust the amount of garlic to however you feel. I'm just going to get that going, get that nice aroma. You don't want to burn your garlic. Then I add a tablespoon of the black bean sauce. Maybe a little bit more. What I'm doing now is creating the base for the flavors that are going to add to our clams. And this doesn't really need to cook that long, so we can start adding our clams now. So I just toss them in. And here it starts cooking. I just want to make sure it gets coated. And then what I do next is I cover it and let it cook in kind of like a steaming fashion. So we'll let that cover. I'll check on it in a couple of minutes just to make sure it's not dried out. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of broth to it. It'll create sort of a steaming effect when I'm cooking the clams. It's only been about a couple of minutes, so it hasn't been too long. The clams are probably heating up. This broth will kind of create a liquid that will kind of act more as a steam. You don't want to put too much, just enough to kind of create a steaming effect. Now you can also try wine if you want to, but I think broth is fine, or even just a little bit of water. Our clams are kind of opening up, and one of the tricks you can do is tap some of them to kind of get them going. And then of course, you all know that you're not supposed to be eating any shellfish like clams or mussels when they don't open up, because if they don't open up, then that's probably a dud. Ours is all opening up nice and wide, so that's good. Now what I'm going to do is I have about a tablespoon of cornstarch, and I added some water, and I'm going to sort of create a gravy to kind of go with our sauce, our clams. You want to make sure the heat is high, and I just put a little bit in it at a time just to kind of see how thick I want it. I don't want it to get too clumpy. I think we can add a little bit more. So that'll just thicken up with the heat. So we're pretty much done. Now all we have to do is just the finishing touches, which is adding some nice heat to the dish with the red chili flakes that I'm going to add now. And this definitely is optional, but I think it's really nice to have this kind of nice sort of heat when you're eating. Just sprinkle as much as you sort of want it to be. I just used some red chili flakes that I got in Koreatown, so those are from the Korean stores. so you know it's going to be spicy. But you can also use just any kind of chili flakes. And then once all the clams have opened up, oh, looks like we got a couple of duds here, then we're all ready to eat. Just plate it up and we're all set. Okay, so here we have our black bean manila clams, piping hot from the wok. Don't they look great? And it was so simple too, and so quick and easy. So all I'm going to do now is probably just grab some of these cilantro, top it off as a garnish, and we're all set. Enjoy!